Hey there, future CSDG experts. So glad you're here. If you're getting ready to tackle that big exam, you have come to the perfect place. Today, we're going to crack the code on one of the most important and, let's be honest, kind of tricky parts, Article 2 of URDG 758, the definitions. All right, let's dive right in.
Oh, I get it. I really do. The first time you open up Article 2, it feels like someone just handed you a giant phone book. It's just this long, dense list of terms, and your eyes just glaze over, right? Well, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, don't worry, you are not alone. And we're going to make it all click. So here's our game plan. Instead of just dryly reading a list off the page, which is so boring, we're going to do something totally different. We're going to turn these definitions into a story that has key players, a paper trail, some high-stakes action, and, of course, a ticking clock. Believe me, when we frame it like this, it's all going to make sense and actually stick in your brain.
Okay, let's kick things off with Chapter 1, Meet the Key Players. Every good story needs its characters, and in the world of demand guarantees, these are the folks you absolutely have to know.
First up, we've got the applicant. So think of the applicant as our main character, the one who kicks off this whole story. They're the ones involved in some kind of business deal, maybe a big construction project, and they need to get a guarantee to prove to the other party that they're good for it. Okay, listen up, because this is a huge one, and it's a classic exam trap. Back in the day, under the old rules, URDG 458, we called this person the principal. But now, under URDG 758, the only correct term is applicant. The best way to think about it is like a software update. Principal is the old version that's not supported anymore. So, for your exam, burn this into your memory. Applicant is in, principal is out. Next on our cast list is the beneficiary. This is the party the guarantee is made for. They're the one holding the safety net. So, if our applicant doesn't deliver on their promises, the beneficiary is the one who gets to make a claim and get paid. Simple as that. And rounding out our main cast, we've got the powerhouse of the story, the guarantor. This is almost always a bank, and for good reason. They've got the financial strength and the reputation to make a promise that everyone trusts. They are the ones who actually issue the guarantee and promise to pay up if things go sideways. Okay, we've got our cast of characters. So what's next? Well, every play needs a script, right? Let's move on to Chapter 2, the all-important paper trail. This is where we look at the documents, both on paper and digital, that control everything these players do. So, in today's digital world, authenticated is a word you absolutely have to know. Basically, it's the digital version of a signature and a sealed envelope all in one. When a document is authenticated, the person who gets it can be totally confident about two things: who really sent it, and that nobody has tampered with it along the way. And this is such a perfect way to see how the rules have kept up with the times. On the one hand, you have signed. That's the old school, classic way, ink on paper, stamp, whatever. But on the other hand, you have authenticated, the modern digital handshake. It just shows that USDRG 758 is built for the way business works today. All right, players are on the stage, they've got their scripts. Now it's time for the big scene, the action. This is the climax of our story, and it's all about making a complying demand. This is that critical moment when the beneficiary has to say, hey, something went wrong, and officially ask for payment. So what exactly is a demand? It's simple. It's the official written notice. It's a signed document where the beneficiary formally tells the guarantor, I need you to pay me under this guarantee. It's the starting gun for any claim. And it has to be a document. You can't just pick up the phone and ask. But hold on, you can't just send any old letter. It has to be part of what's called a complying presentation. For your CSDG exam, you have to know these three pillars. Number 1, the presentation has to match what the guarantee itself says. Number 2, it has to follow the URDG 758 rules we're talking about. And number 3, it needs to line up with the International Standard Demand Guarantee Practice, or ISDGP. If you check all 3 of those boxes, the guarantor has to pay. Okay, so just when you think you've got it all figured out, plot twist. Sometimes a guarantee actually needs its own guarantee, especially when we're talking about international trade. This brings us to a concept that sounds tricky at first, but we're going to make it super simple: the counter guarantee chain. Okay, let's look at the official rulebook definition first. And yeah, I know, reading that might make your head spin a little. A guarantee to get another guarantee? What does that even mean? Don't worry, let's just look at a picture of how it works. It's way easier. Okay, this makes it so much clearer. Let's walk through it. Imagine our applicant is in, say, country A, but the beneficiary is in country B. The applicant's bank might not operate in country B, so what do? The applicant's bank issues a counter guarantee to a bank in country B. Now, that bank in country B, or counter guarantor, has a solid promise from the first bank. And with that backing, they issue the final guarantee to the beneficiary. See? It's just a chain of trust that connects banks across the globe. All right, on to the final piece of our puzzle, the last chapter of our story, time. Every single guarantee is in a race against the clock, and if you miss that deadline, you are out of luck. So understanding how expiry works is absolutely crucial. So the rule itself is pretty straightforward. Expiry is either a specific date or a specific event. But the really important part, especially for your exam, is that if a guarantee lists both a date and an event, the guarantee ends on whichever one of those happens first. The real key, though, is knowing the difference between a date and an event.
And trust me, you are definitely going to see this on the exam. An expiry date is easy. It's a fixed day on the calendar, like December 31st. It's clear, it's certain, but an expiry event is tied to an action. Something like, this guarantee expires when the factory is up and running. The end isn't a fixed date, it depends on something actually happening. Knowing that difference is vital.
And that's our story. Let's do a lightning-fast recap, okay? We met our players, the applicant, the beneficiary, and the guarantor. We followed the paper trail with signed and authenticated documents. We saw the many action making a complying demand, and we learned about the timelines, which are all about expiry. See, when you group them like this, Article 2 isn't just some random list anymore. It's a complete story that makes sense.
So, there you have it. You now know the key players, the rules of the game, and the timeline. I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Of all the things we talked about, what makes a presentation compliant, the trigger for an expiry event, which one do you think causes the most arguments and disputes in the real world? It's something to think about as you keep studying. You're doing great, you've got this. Best of luck on your CSDG exam.